At least the one thing a job does do for people is give them a look into a different world. But my job is the same world, and it's like, just when I thought I could escape.
The idea of just me, it's cool to like float around in just a galaxy of like no ego at all. But if you have people like idolizing you, as much as it's amazing, it can also cause trouble in your head. My name is Alfie Templeman. It started when I was a kid. I picked up a guitar for the first time when I was about 7 from my dad. He had stuff lying around the house like all the time, like guitars. For the longest time, I'd always wanted to like pick one up and try it, but I never really had the confidence.
It was a left-handed one, so I had to learn backwards.
I kind of gave up with that because it was too hard. One day, I went with my dad to see his friend. He passed me this DVD. It was of a band called Rush. I just sat there for like 2 hours. I was just absolutely mesmerised by it.
Drums were made for me. I did it for nearly 10 years. I think people overlook who I am. I think it's just that because I'm young, people don't realise that my songs have a personal meaning. It's something I've dedicated my whole life to.
The only thing that I have a natural passion with and will always try my best in, no matter what, is music.
I'm trying to look back when I'm older, and I'm like, oh, so this is where I was at this point in my life, and this is where I'm at this point in my life. And it can just jump me back.
I record when I feel like recording, and that means I have a reason to. There's something really special about having something that only exists in your head, and you're the one that's tasked with putting it to life. It's like things that your mind's come up with, and now you have the duty to actually bring them into the world.
It can be really numbing sometimes because of the amount you end up travelling and stuff, like staring at the same road. It's like, wake up, feel like shit, go on stage, have the time of your life, and enjoy that kind of come down until you have a massive adrenaline crash. It can be hard to not go into a bit of a black hole there, and sometimes that can linger like a cloud above you. I had a really good childhood. I was a very hyper kid.
The first time I knew something was definitely wrong, it must have been the first time I went to hospital.
I must have been about 7 or 8.
I freaked out really badly at school and just like had this massive, what would be a panic attack. I didn't want to go in. I was really nervous. It was a massive anxiety thing.
I just remember struggling to breathe, and that triggered my asthma, and I ended up in the hospital. Since then, it's like, that's what unlocked that kind of anxiety feeling that I'm really aware of. I'm constantly anxious, like always. I've had that for weeks straight. My depressions come, like the last few years, out of my anxiety as a kid. There's constantly something going on in the back of your mind. It's like flicking channels. It's all the things going round and round, but your brain hasn't got the energy to actually solve it.
When you're in that kind of depressive state, you're not even thinking from your head. Your like whole body's just like on fire. Like you can't control yourself. Intensity, you can feel your heart beating out your chest. Everything's just horrible.
It feels like all of a sudden you're the only person on the planet. It feels like for some reason nobody's alive. It's just you in the darkest room where it's raining outside. Everything is grey and you're just like...
I'm pretty empty right now.
And it feels like there's less purpose. What does my brain look like? My brain looks like a little grey house next to the greenest fields.
I'm surrounded by all of this amazing stuff in my head, but there's just this little box that sometimes I have to go into. This little box of nothingness that actually brings out everything.
But I don't see much colour when I'm depressed, really at all. Everything's very black and white. It's not actually as it is. You trick yourself into thinking that, because life as it is actually the opposite of that. Life is beautiful. There's different ways that I've navigated around it. I think you grow out of some of them. You get older, you look back and think, that worked for a while, and it doesn't anymore. There's things I used to do that kept me occupied. Music's been one of the things that have always stuck through.
I mean, being with sitar is a massive one for me. That really helps. That's a really important thing.
Family as well. I also rely on myself for a lot of it. Just being comfortable in my own skin helps. I'm okay with my depression not going away, as long as I can continue to have the answers for it.
Realised that, you know, most of it is based out of just like anxiety and things that, you know, I can't help being born this way, so I should embrace it and actually, you know, learn to accept that it's just part of me. If we use it right, you know, like creatively, then other people who, you know, suffer with it can see that actually there's a way to get the help for it. You're fine. You're okay. And I really do believe you just woke up on the wrong side of the bed, quite simply. And there's just going to be days where you're going to feel like that. And it's just part of life. For the most part, it's just a chemical imbalance. It's just something that your brain's tricking you into. The glimpse of the world I do get to see is actually stunning.
What heals you?
Love. Yeah, all of that. Love.
Yes.